Wow. Episode starts now of Patreon exclusive, but not exclusive because I think we're going to release it for everyone.
Patreon starts now of episode starts now of Patreon exclusive?
Episode starts now of Patreon exclusive that we're actually knowingly going to unlock, so it's not exclusive.
How dare you?
Did I ruin it?
No, it's okay.
I can start over.
Listen, here's the thing. We have 2 episodes there's 2 dates. One is Christmas and one is New Year's, of course. And it would be so unfair to a guest to release their original episode on those dates because very few people listen. So, we got to do some re-releases. We got to do some Patreon releases.
We were going to just do a re-release, and then we were like, well, we could just put a Patreon up there.
Let's do a Patreon. Oh, please. Everyone likes a call-in show.
For crying out loud.
I'm feeling cozy-wozy today. This will be one of those amazing episodes where it gets dark as I'm recording, which everyone loves, and I will slowly be sort of less and less well lit until I decide to turn on a lamp that somehow has like a prison light cast on my face.
Yeah.
And I will be once again Pamela Anderson stuns without makeup at the a press screening of The Last Showgirl in Detroit.
The way that is like such shorthand now. Like when I'm like last night, I was trying to put together an outfit and I was like, I like it, but it's not Sam Stunn's in New Photo. And I'm like, I do want Sam Stunn's in New Photo sometimes.
I have to say, I've been feeling less and less George Stunn's in New Photo recently. I kind of think there's something about the end of the year where I'm like, let's wrap it up in terms of my own appearance. I mean, I kind of am not putting effort in, and I'm like, 2025, there's going to be some stunning happening.
Do you have any goals?
Actually, yes, I do.
Oh, really?
I mean, we could do you want to do New Year's resolutions before we get into calls?
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have a goal, which is I want to write every day.
Oh, that's a good goal.
I think it's simple enough. It's also flexible. Listen, if I'm busy, even just sitting down and trying to write one stand-up joke or something will be enough. It doesn't have to be that I'm working on my big opus.
Yeah.
But I think having really committing to a daily practice is something I've never done. I'm one of these people that like doesn't do anything for months and then sits down and has like a really productive weekend where suddenly I do everything I've been putting off. And I would like to not be like that.
No, that makes sense. I don't have one yet. It's still early. I think what I was saying is I'm in such a like, just get through the day. Like I'm in such a like.
Well, same. That's why. Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And I literally don't know where else to find extra time. And I'm like, what is my goal? Like I'm pretty regimented during the week, but what is my goal for in general? I think I do need to like carve out maybe not like a daily thing, but like a weekly like check in with myself, because I am just like letting weeks fly by and being like, well, I was busy. And it's like, I think I'm just always going to be busy and I need to start to prioritize me again.
No, I know. It's sort of the most cliche problem to have, but it is just simply so true. Like, in order to accomplish anything, you have to basically be like a taskmaster. You really have to be your own, like, abusive work manager who's like sending you a Slack at Sunday morning being like, have you done this?
I'm also feeling like a sort of hangover of like, in LA, I've been so like, I need friends. I need to find my community. I need to find circles. And like, I need to get involved with people. And I'm sort of like, actually, like, I know enough people. I need to like focus on like working again. Like I've sort of been like, anything you just got to make friends. You got to make friends and you got to get out there. And now I'm like, okay, I've just been out all the time.
Yeah, no, the pendulum does swing kind of depending on one's mood, where you want to be like, hey, I'm not going to do hustle culture. I'm actually going to prioritize the things that make me happy. And then you prioritize them too much and you're like, okay, well, I'm literally just going out. and I actually do need to do a little bit of hustle culture.
Yeah.
And then you prioritize that too much. And then, because that feels good when you really are like, damn, I'm crossing things off my to-do list. But
the way sitting next to me just out of frame is a giant pile of clothes that I've just like collected over the week. It's like stuff like that. I really got to like figure it out.
No, I completely agree. I have a sort of master to-do list that I just kind of update. It's always one document. And I just kind of like update it as I get things done. And I made a new one that was like to do before I leave, because I'm leaving for the holidays in 2 days. And of course I put literally everything I've had to do for the whole year on it. I'm like, all right, so now I have 2 days, I can do it. Like I have to mail 15 packages. I have to like rework an entire script. I have to, buy Christmas presents for every single person in my family and Matthew's family in the next 48 hours.
This is like so you coded though. Like
I know.
I had a thought. Okay. I don't mean this to be offensive. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
I think sometimes you believe procrastination is real. Like you are like, well, if I put it off till tomorrow, I don't have to do it till tomorrow. And like in a way where I'm like, but you still have to do it. Sure. Like you, the story, telling yourself stories in order to live. If you're like, okay, I need to do this, I'll do it tomorrow. Is you're very good at believing that. You're like. Where I'm like, well, if I have to think about doing it tomorrow, I might as well do it now.
Yeah, no, and of course you are correct.
But it is funny. I'm like,
but then I will say, then I also am actually very, in my own way, self-sacrificing when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
It's like when it needs to happen, I will, cancel important plans to do something because I don't want to disappoint the person that I owe it to.
Totally.
I'm not going to like miss a deadline necessarily.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that makes me feel even more virtuous when, in fact, it's a completely self-imposed prison that I'm in. And then suddenly I'm like, God, look at me. I'm like really putting work ahead of everything because I canceled this dinner.
And then the pendulum's got to swing. And the next week you're going out all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Well, sorry to drag you right up top. I didn't mean to.
No. Well, we thought it would be a fun thing to do to take some calls that have been absolutely burning a hole in our inbox. What are you laughing at?
No, sorry. The transition's tough.
Shall we?
Let's.
Okay, so let's take some calls.
Let's take some calls.
From our listeners.
From our dear listeners.
Just a reminder, you can always call at 385-GAY-GUYS, and we listen to literally every call. We're not going to play every call, but we do listen to every call, especially the ones that are over 3 minutes long, and then someone calls back and is like, hi, this is Mark again. As I was saying...
We had a 3-minute long call?
Oh, there's many, because that's when it cuts off.
Wow.
And by the way, I appreciate it. Okay. So here is one.
George, Sam, hello. I like your podcast a lot. I was wondering if you guys have ever considered that you're like a bizarro version of Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey, because you're like Greek and Midwestern, respectively. I didn't get much further than that, but my husband didn't roll his eyes when I brought it up. So, love ya.
I just thought this was a funny call.
And
then I was like, which one is Joey? And it's Dave Coulier.
Yeah, no, I see it.
And so it's like John Stamos and Dave Coulier. And I was like, wait, this actually kind of, not to say that we physically resemble them that much, but I definitely see the parallel. And I could see that being maybe a new kind of visual that we play with.
I love the visual. I see it very clearly. And is it perfect? Of course not. But
nothing
is. And I think it's fun. It's our own sort of 3 tickets to Challengers, please. I can see it.
Okay, next call.
Hi, Sam and George. This is Erica calling, and I am wondering if you two could tell me whether you think we are in an optimism deficit or an earnestness deficit, because I think that's what our country is experiencing. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. And this is a deep cut, but since I'm here, George, what about Bob Sapolsky's class was so inspiring to you that you kept the Zebras book? Wondering and asking for a friend. Bye.
Okay, are we in an optimism deficit or an earnestness deficit? I know it feels like we've answered this question before, but I want to tackle it head on.
I have one question about this question. Are these two separate questions, or is this like a binary that's being created?
I think that there are two separate questions.
Okay, great.
Because I think those can coexist.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think?
It's really difficult.
So like, true.
I know what it's tough because we are definitely in an earnestness deficit if you take as earnestness like the Lin-Manuel Miranda ethos. You know what I mean? Like that feels like it is on its way out, the kind of like hard on your sleeve, vulnerable, constantly on the verge of tears, one person show that ends in a plea for everyone to be more civil.
Yeah.
However, there is an argument to be made that ethos, and I don't want to call out Lin-Manuel Miranda specifically, but there's an argument to be made that ethos sort of was always a little bit cynical. And I'm taking Hamilton out of it, but I just mean like, was something like a TED Talk about the value of kindness, is that earnest, or is that in fact someone being like, oh, the keyword kindness is going to do really well with people on TEDx.com.
Whoa.
So I'm going to sort of like use faulty pop science and like anecdotes that are very emotionally manipulative to make some stupid point that ultimately does not hold water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But I think whatever that is, whether you define that as earnestness or whether you define that as like a cynical simulacrum of earnestness, that is over. Like that is out. People don't want, people don't want a solo show that ends in an uplifting note. People don't necessarily want Beyonce to stop a song midway through and say the dictionary definition of feminism. Like,
yeah.
They want something more and something with a little more edge.
Yeah, they want crunchy. They want a little bit, they want less clear. They want more of like a fuck you than a like, we all need to love each other.
Yeah, exactly. And there's actually a way, we sort of threw the baby out with the bathwater because people were like, all you Lin-Manuel Miranda adjacent people are being fake. And therefore kindness is over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that the people were like, earnestness is corny, therefore any argument that has as its goal social justice or generosity or gratitude or kindness is inherently evil. When in fact there are actually like good pro-social ways to argue for kindness and social justice.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it's pretty definitely over. And optimism couldn't be more over. I mean, with the Trump presidency, I really think it's like no side is like, this is awesome. Like even the side that won is like, finally, there will be suffering. Like, thank God I can like make these people suffer. I'm fucking sick of these people. And it's like, even that's not like, it's not like happy. It's like still just like out of anger and stuff.
100%. I think that the little shot of optimism we had the single day that Joe Biden dropped out.
Yeah.
Before we could even like contemplate what the next steps would be, there was something that was like we were being edged for 4 years. And for the length of the campaign, let's say. And then finally there was like a piece of news that felt good.
Yeah.
We didn't even stop to think, like, is it actually good news? It was just like, well, it's the opposite of the thing we don't want.
This is literally like the shooter again. Like the shooter also was like, it's like, well, this is like, okay, like maybe something will happen with all this. Like, this is kind of interesting. And it is just like,
but I actually think the shooter is an example of the kind of like, it's almost like the shooter response, which is so dark and so enmeshed with like embedded into like a sarcastic, ironic tone or something, is like what is replacing optimism and earnestness.
Yeah, totally. I think so too.
So, of course, listen, the give and take between earnestness and irony is something that is not new. and the pendulum has swung back and forth for generations. And honestly, neither option is inherently politically better than the other. So it's just a matter of how you use irony or how you use earnestness.
Yeah. I'm excited for when the pendulum swings back. I hope that we're like, because we'll be older, we'll be like a little more out of touch. I hope we like fully get earnest in a way that's so embarrassing. I think that could be really fun.
It will happen. No, next time the pendulum swings back, we will absolutely be like MSNBC moms who are like, why can't everyone just get along?
Yeah.
We have to buy tickets to the Nutcracker.
I really look forward to that for us.
I kind of agree. It's going to be an amazing moment of just exhaling.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah. Okay. This one is very you-coded.
Hi, Sam and George. First-time caller. I have emailed before. I was on like one of the first earnestness bonanzas a long time ago. Anyway, this is not related to that. You told me to watch Adaptation and Madam X, and it was great, and I appreciate it, and I have grown as a person because of it. Anyway, moving on. I want to pursue something creative, but I live in the Midwest. Is it worth it? And like for context, I don't live in deep Midwest. Like I live in Detroit. So like I obviously live in like a metropolitan area, but it still feels like there's no point in doing anything if you don't live in New York or LA. So sorry to bring up that dichotomy that is well discussed. However, yeah, is it worth like doing something creative, or do I in the Midwest if I have no intention to move to the coast? Like that's expensive. It's so much cheaper to live here. Anyway, and it's still expensive to live here. Ugh. That Cheeto in chief. Thank you. Thank you for the information or your help. Bye-bye.
Damn. Okay. I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, you should still do it. Of course.
Of course.
Can I tell you what I'm about to? That's insane. Okay,
Yeah.
Of course you should do it, you stupid bitch. You dumb bitch. Of course you should do it.
You dumb bitch. Do your creative. Time is running out. We are on this world for one life only, and you're not going to pursue a creative passion because you live in Detroit?
I mean, honey, go to the damn open mic. It'll be one of the weirdest experiences you ever see, and you maybe will find one single friend if you go for a few weeks.
We are booking our travel. We're booking our flight to Detroit, coming to your house, forcibly removing you and taking you to a local art opening. You're going to have a glass of orange wine and you are going to network with the local artistic community.
I understand. Maybe it's harder. It's like smaller scenes and stuff. I also, you don't specify what type of creative pursuit you want.
Yes,
so that
I also had that question.
Does complicate it. But I think if it's something where there's like, it requires sort of a social scene, I do feel like there will be one, even if it's smaller. And there already is one.
Yeah. I mean, needless to say, at a very basic level, you can pursue a creative outlet without wanting to monetize it, which I know is almost condescending.
George, you're scaring me.
Thing. But you know what I mean? Like at the very, very basic level, if pursuing something creative is going to give you joy, you should do it, period.
Yeah.
Even if it's literally like you performing in front of like an empty wall.
Yeah.
So there's that. So that's layer one. Layer two is first of all, you're in Detroit, which is a major American city, but every city has local scenes in every art form. Like there are just always more people than you think around you.
Yeah.
Especially when you live in a city, but also honestly, I often find even when you're in a non-city environment.
Yeah.
And also, if you are in the sort of monetizing direction, I mean, dare I state the obvious that we are living in a digital global town square, y'all. And the internet actually makes it so that random people who are on TikTok in Minnesota can suddenly sell out arenas in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's true. Shout out to our boy Sam.
People that are selling ceramics in Illinois can make an Etsy store, and someone in Berlin can order one.
And they'll say, I got this from an artisanal person in Illinois. And
yes, and people will be like, oh, what's Illinois?
What is Illinois?
So of course you should pursue it. And I guarantee you that it'll bring you so much happiness, whether it's finding a community, whether it is, potentially in the future pursuing it in a more professional capacity, or whether it's just the fulfillment that comes from following through on something you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, exploring.
Oh, this is a fun one.
Hey, Sam and George. Marry, fuck, kill Santa, the Grinch, and Frosty the Snowman? Thanks. Bye.
This feels quite easy to me, and I'm not trying to be like super literal.
Right. No, I know what you're going to say.
Kill the Grinch. I actually would marry Frosty the Snowman, and I would fuck Santa.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
because I don't want like to marry a celebrity. Like I want to have sex with Santa Claus and say like I actually had sex with Santa, and people will be like, "Really? What was it like?" Like that sounds fun to like talk about at a party, but it doesn't sound like if I were married to Santa, it would be like all about his work schedule. Like everything would be like we'd have to relocate to the North Pole. Yeah. And the Grinch, I'm just like, I don't care how fat that ass is. You are a nasty green bitch.
Totally.
So how do you feel?
It's funny. I need to investigate this, but my initial instinct was fuck the Grinch.
You want to fuck the Grinch?
And I think there's something about the Grinch being so like such a nasty man that you're like, I bet he's good in bed.
Yeah. No, I bet it's incredible.
That said, I have to say, on a literal level, being intimate with someone with such hairy green fingers really freaks me out.
Ugh.
And so it would have to be, I'm sorry to say this, a human person with the vibe of the Grinch rather than the literal green Grinch.
Yeah, the face is like so...
I mean, he's ugly, let's face it. He's unattractive.
He's unattractive.
I would fuck Jim Carrey before they put him on the makeup chair.
Yeah.
When they were filming the Grinch film.
Yeah.
And then I actually would maybe marry Santa.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling kind of power hungry today. I totally get where you're coming from. And of course, Frosty would be such a sweet, caring husband. And you would just have this like amazing middle class life in a cabin in the snow. But there's something, I think it's the end of the year. I think it's me setting New Year's resolutions. I'm like, I want to be the first lady.
I'll say
of
it.
The North Pole.
I'll say it. You're present hungry. You're trying to marry the man that makes and gives all the presents.
I'm present hungry. And you know what else? I want to be a gay Mr. Claus, like a gay Mrs. Claus, and I want my thing to be like doing charity work and hosting galas and
I see it.
like kissing babies and shaking people's hands, and honestly being like on the cover of Out magazine and The Advocate as like the first gay Mrs. Claus.
That would be amazing. Also, I'm playing out the scenario, and like on Christmas Eve, Santa's like, okay, I have to go do my thing. My ass is getting on Scruff, Sniffies, Grinder, Growler, everything. And my phone is hot as hell. And I'm saying, who is nearby? Who is nearby? I have one night.
If you don't think I'm fucking the elves, you're living in a dream world. There's just, I think what it is like the Santa world is more developed. I mean, the Grinch world is also developed, but you obviously don't want to be married to the Grinch. No. But the Santa world is so developed that you're like, oh, fun, it's Christmas.
I like that. I think that's nice. And I like that we have different answers.
Yeah. All right.
Can I say something?
Please.
I'm kind of Grinch coded this year.
Really?
I'm like, I hate presents. I'm like turning into this like crank about Christmas in a way that is weird, where I like the vibe. I like jingle bells and snow falling and lights, but I'm like, I hate presents. I'm like,
no, I'm right there with you on presents.
It's like pissing me off that I have to do this, and no one is going to even like it's not like you're getting something for a child and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're just like, okay, I found this shirt. Do you like it?
Yeah. It is making me violently angry this year.
I hate it.
I am so frustrated. And it also, there is this part in the movie Friends with Money where Frances McDormand, I think, is sort of in a depression and she has stopped shampooing her hair. And she has a speech where she's like, I just realized, like, I just shampoo it, then it gets dirty. I shampoo it, then it gets dirty. Like, what is the point of just like doing this for the rest of my life? And that is kind of how I'm feeling about presents.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I will end it all if I have to keep doing this for the rest of my life. Every year doing this dance of like, basically everyone thinks it's annoying, but you have to keep doing it. And of course you don't want to be the only one not bringing presents. I really want to get to a place where it's just natural to give your friends presents and do thoughtful things for your friends and family year round. And you don't have to do this like big dog and pony show once
Basically,
a year.
all I want is like buy dinner. Like, can we all just like take turns buying dinner? And that's like it. Like, bring a nice bottle of something over. Or bring a fancy candle. Like, I'm sick of
Buy
this
something
shit.
when you're traveling.
Yes. Buy me a funny t-shirt when you're in Paris.
Yeah. No, it's or I don't know. On the other hand, when you do have a perfect gift for someone, it's so rewarding, but you just want to be like, okay, well then let's do that. Let's just do the good part.
Yeah.
If I have something in mind for someone, that's great. I shouldn't then also have to buy 5 cardigans for no reason.
It's just too much.
No, I completely agree. And I'm like, especially this year that I'm traveling, just like having to think of which gifts can I buy that actually fit in a suitcase, and which gifts can I buy in my travels to bring back.
I have the same thing. Not international, but still annoying as fuck.
Yeah, no, it's also, I have to say, I feel like there was this era where people would constantly talk about how holiday gift giving is such a bacchanal of consumerism, and how, there are ways to be more sustainable about it, blah, blah. And then everyone just sort of like let go of that notion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it now, or maybe that is just a matter of our age. Like that's something you think of when you're like in your teens and 20s, and then you get to your 30s and you're like, well, I got to buy, my friend a baby gift because she just had a baby.
Yeah. I'm even thinking about that. I'm like, I have like what feels like 1 million family members, and like we only have 2 like little babies in our family. And so I'm like, do we all get that? Like, it's fun to buy babies things, but it's like, are you guys going to end up with like a pile of shit and be like annoyed?
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Here's what I'll say. The trope of successful absent father who has his assistant buy gifts. I'm officially forgiving that trope. I think that is okay. You know what I mean? Like 100%. I'm like, guess what? There are other things that I don't forgive him for. I mean, he should show up to the recital. He should
be there at the soccer game.
He should, be considerate of his wife's needs and not constantly undermine her. But like, if you have an assistant, by all means, use them to buy your Christmas gifts.
Yeah. I literally want to be that now. I'm like, who will do my shopping for me? This is like, so basically my whole afternoon is going to be ruined because I'm going to be online and I'm not going to like anything. But I'm going to have to pull the trigger on something and just be like, sorry, I hope you like it.
The online thing,
I hate.
Sorry, this is actually the online thing is also, I'm like, they should shut down the internet for the month of December, because guess what? Limitations are productive. When you have limitations, you make better decisions. Only brick and mortar holiday shopping.
Shut down the internet.
Shut down the internet for December. Yes, we can keep giving gifts if everyone insists, but the one rule is it has to be from a boutique.
Not to be New York versus LA again, but in LA, you can't just go, you have to go to a mall if you want to shop. And it's like in New York, you have this like romantic, like, oh, is it going to snow today? I'm walking through Williamsburg and going into all the stores and finding the perfect thing. And every place has a curated Christmas playlist. And you're like, this is so, like, there's something a little playful about it.
Yeah.
And here I'm just like, I'm logging on to jcrew.com. It is time to see what they have. I will look up gift guide for women, gift guide for men, like hoping that something feels interesting. I hate it.
No, it's also, I just want to say the false promise of a Christmas market, do not piss on me and tell me it's raining.
God.
Not a single thing in a Christmas market is worthy of my money in any way.
We should have a Christmas market.
Why are there little...
And then we should bomb it because none of that stuff is usable as a gift.
I swear to God, why would I want like a little piece of wood that has a carving on it? And it says like, nephew. Shut up.
Shut up.
The Union. There is nothing worse than the Union Square Christmas market. Every year, I think I'm going to go in and like not even that I'm looking for gifts, obviously, but like even find a nice, spiced hot toddy or something. And somehow every year I come out and it's like, a movie where someone comes out of, a hurricane or something and is like, my hair is just all over my face. My makeup is smeared. I like don't know where I'm going.
No, the Union Square Market is actually one of the worst in the world. It's crazy that there hasn't been an expose on how bad it is.
Literally. It's like owned by some fucking real estate company or something, like some developer.
This feels like such a healthy expression of our negative feelings. I'm so glad we're popping off.
I know, I agree. All right, let's scare.
Hey, George and Sam. My question is unfortunately about gay marriage, which y'all have discussed is inherently tacky in nature. I am Mexican and my fiance is Venezuelan. We live in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much. And in terms of tackiness versus chicness, we were wondering if George could give wedding advice when it comes to languages. And we're going to get married in Mexico. And do we do it all in Spanish? So there's like a fear factor for the Americans, or do we include some English for it to be inclusive? Was there any Greek components in your wedding, George? I don't know. I'm trying to make this as cool as possible with the ingredients that we got, which are not good. Anyway, I'll have to think, who knows, maybe at this point, if you still only speak one language, I think it's, time to grow up. Sorry, Sam. Anyway,
got my ass.
Kisses. Thank you. Bye.
Got your ass
big time. Fuck.
Okay. I don't want to be prescriptive here because I don't know the details of your family. To me, my main point is just there's nothing more chic than a bilingual wedding. Like, I actually wanted to have more Greek at my wedding, and I even told my mom that I wanted her to potentially do a reading in Greek, and she was just very matter-of-factly like, why? People wouldn't understand it. And I was like, got my ass again. But so my aunt officiated, as Sam can attest, and
confirmed.
There was definitely Greek elements. She called me by my Greek name. She did a little bit of like explaining, like in Greece, we say this about a wedding. And she would say like one Greek word and then explain it in a very like America melting pot kind of a way. And we also had a Jewish elements because Matthew's Jewish. So there was, it felt very like coastal, multicultural white wedding in that way. If you're Mexican and your boyfriend is and your fiancé is Venezuelan and you're getting married in Mexico, and I think people will figure it out.
Yeah. If you had gotten married in Greece, how would it have changed, do you think?
I just honestly I can't even tell you because I never even considered that. I mean, I think if it was if I was straight, I was marrying a Greek person, or even if I was marrying an American person, if I was straight and I was getting married in Greece, it would probably be in a church and it would probably be like more traditional. And there's fewer opportunities for customization because it's just like, every wedding is the same.
Oh,
like
okay.
There's just like certain things that have to be said. There are certain traditions that have to be done. And then I'm sure the toast would have been like half in English, half in Greek and like whatever. But I think the wedding itself, people would not have cared that it was in Greek because it's basically the equivalent of being in like ancient Greek because you're in a church.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think, I went to a lesbian wedding in Mexico, as everyone knows.
The lesbian wedding that rocked the podcast world.
I will say that was both brides were Spanish speakers, but that was all in English. And I have to say, I appreciated it, of course, because I could understand everything that was being said, and it was a very multicultural crowd. But would I have also found it really chic if it was all in Spanish? Yeah, and I would have actually kind of loved that. So my current mood tells me to lean into Spanish, but I also think as long as you love one another and as long as your families are there and everyone is happy and healthy, you really can't go wrong.
Beautiful.
Were there things at my wedding, Sam, that you were like, I want to or I don't want to do that at mine, not to trick you?
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is Yorgos? I was like, this wedding's for George. Get Yorgos out. Show me where this Yorgos is and get him out of here. No, it was your wedding was incredibly chic all around. And in the new year, I'm going to ask you how.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. By the way, this year, your New Year's resolution is
figure this shit out.
You got to plan your wedding.
Yeah.
That's your New Year's resolution. Okay. This one is a fun one. By the way, I just want to say to everyone, we specifically asked for spicy and controversial questions, and our listeners are so sophisticated, well-read, and absolutely addicted to nuance that every single question is like, can you please unpack this philosophical question I just had? All right.
Hi, George and Sam. Big fan of the podcast. You guys are truly my comfort listen in these trying times. I want to ask, how do you think about familiarity and comfort versus novelty and excitement in your lives? Do you have a mix? Do you value one more than the other? I'm 29 and I recently moved to Europe for grad school, and I'm now in a long-distance relationship. I had my grad school plans way before my partner and I started dating last year, but the experience of it has been pretty challenging, especially for him. Which I think is understandable, but it's gotten me thinking about why I like seeking out novelty and new experiences, and I think it's because that's how I feel like I'm personally growing, but theoretically I could also find a way to feel like I'm growing without leaving my partner and moving halfway around the world, by building community and deepening my relationships at home, I guess. Is one better than the other? Is it selfish of me to prioritize personal growth like this? Okay, thank you. Excited to hear your thoughts. Bye.
Interesting question.
Is, like, how do we do we prefer familiarity and comfort over novelty and excitement? And how do we conceptualize the place each of those two things has in our lives?
I feel like it's different segments of my life are different. when it comes to food, I really prioritize familiarity and comfort in a way that is like almost like I'm like selling myself short. But because like I hate when I go to a restaurant and I'm annoyed. It's like one of my least favorite feelings is when like I'm being annoyed at like a supposedly nice restaurant. And so like if I'm even slightly feeling unstable in my life, I'm like, no, I have to go to a restaurant I'm familiar with, because I just can't do it. But that being said, I feel like when it comes to other, let's say it, sometimes sex stuff, I'm like, what's new? What's fun? Anyway, it's like, chill out. So
interesting.
So it's hard to tell. What do you think?
Well, I definitely think, if I may be so bold, both of us are into familiarity and comfort when it comes to like our primary romantic relationships.
Yeah.
I think we're both relationship girls.
Yes.
And I think we really like, yes, we love going out. Yes, we love exploring, but we love being cozy with our men.
It's true. And it feels less juicy to talk about, so we don't talk about it as much, but it's true.
We love a like Sunday morning of, having our coffees together. We love a dinner at home. We love being with each other's families to an extent. I'm kidding. I think we like building a home.
Yeah, we do. Cancers. Not to be that, but it's very Cancer.
I will say I definitely... It's complicated because I want to be like, when it comes to art, I seek out the unfamiliar. That's like what I want to say about myself. But then ultimately it's like I seek out a very specific kind of unfamiliar, which is like I want something that feels like it would be like written up in an art magazine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to seek out the unfamiliar by, opening myself up to more fantasy and sci-fi, for example, which is something I've historically never like quite done a deep dive on. I'm not gonna, even with books, it's like I'm very interested in reading new types of books, but only within the kind of confines of my own taste.
Yeah.
I think as I've gotten older, I've become slightly better about that, but I don't know. And then I think my thing, here's what I'll say. I think my thing with novelty is I get very antsy when I'm in the same position for too long. I'm like always having a new job. Before I met Matthew, I was always moving. I like moved apartments every year. When I finished high school, I like immediately went to college, like the farthest I could possibly go. If I had a sort of more stable professional life, I would definitely travel more. I like feel the need to take trips.
That's interesting.
So I think in my day-to-day, yeah, I think big picture I like stability, but small picture day-to-day, I'm like, I want to wake up the next day and like go on a trip.
That's very interesting. I feel like maybe I'm more towards the familiar. Like I really like having all my like knowing. Like I'm obsessed. Like when I was in New York, I was obsessed with like I need to find an apartment that I can stay in for a long time because I don't want to have to think about apartments, or like I want to find like I'm obsessed with like finding stability in order to be able to just like have freedom in my mind. And I think because I want to be a little crazy, but I need everything to be. I feel like I can't be crazy until everything's settled.
Right. You need a home base that you can always return to so that you can go have your adventures.
Yeah. And even like travel, I like going places, but it is like, it feels like there's something about it, like traveling in excess. I'm like, well, that would be wasteful. Like there's something where I'm like, well, yeah, I can go on one trip like every 3 years, like, which isn't true. Like you can just go somewhere, but
no, you can, and you can actually do it in an affordable way. Like you develop I develop such resentment for people that are constantly traveling because I'm like, oh, you stupid rich bitch. And then you realize that actually, if you just prioritize it and that is where your money goes, rather than fucking restaurants and living in New York City, then there is in fact a way to do it on a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say next Q.
Yeah, let's do next Q. I do think both of us feel the push and pull of familiarity and innovation in a way that actually often is paralyzing.
Say that. Damn, I love call-in shows.
I know.
It's so fun.
Favorite.
Hi, George and Sam. I need some advice. What would you do if you really like someone, you want to be their friend, but you despise their partner? Yeah, let me know. XOXO.
This is a tough one.
I'm trying to think who I have in my life that's even like this. Okay, I've got one.
Okay. Damn, that didn't take long.
It does make it complicated. Yeah, I mean, I think the sad part is it will affect the friendship no matter what. There's no way to avoid it, and it just is like you have to sort of compartmentalize a bit.
This is something straight people are great at. Just to bring it back to gay versus straight, there is something when a friend of mine starts dating someone I don't like, I take it as this like huge momentous event that I will have to navigate. And I'm like, okay, guys, like let's all get together and figure out what our approach is, because this is code red.
Yeah.
And then for straight people, they basically all hate each other's husbands and
wives. Like assumed.
It's like it's assumed, and it's this weird, or not weird, but this just like unspoken undercurrent that runs through everything. And in that sense, they're almost in their own way more evolved because they can actually like hold two thoughts in their brain at the same time. Like imagine a dinner party that's 3 straight couples, and basically all the wives like think the rest of the husbands are assholes. And then all the husbands, they have like inappropriate sexual feelings towards one wife. They think another one is too mouthy. He's like, that's a mouthy broad.
That's a mouthy broad. Well, you're pointing to something. I think it's almost like a technique so that monogamy is enforced, because you're like, if your wife like thinks that guy is cool and like likes, then she's then they're going to hook up. Like, it's like, no, you have to dislike your girlfriend's husband because if not, then are you trying to steal him? Like,
yeah. No, it's basically just psychosexual mind games.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Well,
via conversations about like real estate and vacation.
And this is why it's gay versus straight too, because if you're hanging out with another gay couple and you're like, you are vibing with the partner, you can almost be like, wait, are we all going to hook up? Like, so you're like, you want to get along with everybody.
I have to say, I recently had an experience where I'm going to try to really anonymize this, but I had an experience where I met someone and I was like, I like turned to my friend and I was like, do you know who that is? Why does he have such an insane energy? And then my friend was like, oh, like we're hooking up and like I brought him here. I was like, what? And I actually genuinely did it. I had to take an off ramp off of my, like I had to say like 2 more half bitchy things before I could stop. I actually found myself being like, sorry, but I can't stop at this. Like
the brake lines have been cut.
Exactly. Like I can't just go right to being like, oh, sorry, I was kidding. He's actually great. I was like, I said something. I was like, well, he has a very particular energy. I was just like, sorry, I can't just pretend this isn't real. I already broke the seal. I'm sorry. I made my first faux pas. I just have to make it clear that this person is so off-putting.
I love that you had like double jeopardy rules where you're like, well, you can't arrest me again. I already made the faux pas. Now I'm going to lean in.
And I could feel myself. I mean, I used to be much worse about things like this when I was younger. I would like openly roll my eyes, but like, I do feel like I've gotten better, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't. There's also something about gay guys. There's just so many of them and you meet them all the time and you're sort of like, life is too short for me to interact with this person. There are so many other gay guys I could be interacting with.
I know. Life is so short.
I will say we're not necessarily giving advice to this caller. I mean,
I think our advice is
you have to suck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to suck it up.
Sorry.
Because it's not worth losing a friend over it.
And the more that you dislike this partner, the more they're going to fall in love with each other for some reason.
100%.
So you have to like be chill about it and then let it happen on its own.
And it's okay to occasionally, have some friend time that isn't with plus ones.
It's great to do that. And sometimes you find little glimmers of liking that person that sucks. And you're like, well, that was fun.
That's true. I actually had that. This is not someone's romantic partner, but last night at Max's, there's this one person who I've always found. I'm sort of like, why is everyone pretending this person is in our community? Because I don't like them. And then last night I actually had a great conversation with her, but I was like, oh, it's my prejudices.
Wow. Love that.
Yeah.
That's nice to have happen.
Hi, this is Shannon. I'm calling to ask you if you got turned into a vampire, how much of your current lifestyle would have to change, and how long do you think it would take other people to notice? Assuming like all the usual, like can't go out in the sunlight, you gotta drink blood to live, what would that change about how you're currently living your life? All right, have a good day. Bye.
Well, I think people would notice pretty quick here in sunny Los Angeles, California.
Here's my question. Am I allowed to have my laptop in my little casket? Because that would definitely make things a lot easier. If I could, be on Slack, be on email, potentially read the news while I was down there during the day. And then, at nighttime, I'm going to basement.
I mean, I'd really have to focus on the nightlife.
Yeah. But I do think that it would actually be an amazing way for me to go out more, which is something I've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
As if I just was a vampire.
Has there been a movie about a vampire who's just like a club kid in New York?
I'm sure there has.
Yeah. Because it makes sense.
Much like our point about how if you live in Detroit, there are more people than you think that are interested in your creative pursuit. There are always more vampire media properties than you think.
Yeah.
They have literally done it. They have explored every possible angle.
Yeah.
And I'm actually sort of like, good.
Yeah.
I like vampires. I'm like, I get why this is a kind of like one of these cultural tropes that we return to.
Yeah,
I get it more than a lot of more than like superheroes and stuff.
Well, they're literally the sexiness is like built in. Like vampires are supposed to be sexy, so it's like okay, well that's fun.
Here's another thing about being a nightlife vampire is like you actually meet so many annoying people when you're out late at night that you wouldn't feel bad about eating them.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a really smart point.
So I guess it would take a few weeks for people to notice.
You know what I've never understood about vampire lore is like I understand they want to drink blood and they're like sexy, but like do they have sex still?
Well, if you're watching gay interview with a vampire on AMC Plus or whatever streaming platform it's on, you better believe they're fucking.
Ooh, that's good. Okay.
But you are right though that like the sensuality comes from the forbidden nature of the touching. It's like I mean Twilight too. That's literally why it's a Mormon metaphor because he was like, if I come anywhere near you, I will be too tempted to suck your blood.
Ravish you.
So, but wait, is that so? You're asking, which I think is an important question. For them, is the blood sucking the sex act?
Yeah, I'm like, is it all just a trap in order to get blood, or is it like? But today I actually am horny and want to have sex.
I'm Googling, do vampires have sex?
It's crazy because I can actually see your screen.
Oh my God. Yes, vampires can have sex. Okay, well, that's an AI answer. A vampire's bite is not a metaphor for sex. Vampires have sex.
Oh.
They have great sex.
Oh.
They also need to feed on human blood to survive. Okay.
So they do both.
Well, there you go. Well, that's fun.
That's fun. That's good to know. Huh. I was just saying that how much we were saying we like that they explore vampires in every way, and I'm actually like, I'm now questioning whether or not that's true for me.
Say more.
Well, I'm like, I actually, whenever something is a vampire thing, I'm actually a little bit like, I don't want to see that.
Have you seen A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night?
No.
It's really good. It's a vampire movie. I don't know. Here's what I think about vampires. I think that the darkness of it makes it so that it weeds out a lot of people who would make super corny art about it.
Yeah.
Do I believe that? I mean, of course there is a lot of corny art about vampires, but I'm just thinking like it's so much easier to make corny art about like, I don't know. I was about to say ghosts, but that's not true, actually. Ghosts are way more interesting than vampires because it's about a relationship with death.
I feel like vampires, it's a very teen aesthetic. It's very like the gothiness is so teen, and then like
it's Emily the Strange.
Yeah, and then like the horniness that's like not really horny, where it's like I should. That's very teen. Even like being like I have fangs is so like MySpace coded in a way.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be appreciated in the Anne Rice universe. And I do wonder if it wasn't for her, if vampires would have fallen off, so to speak. Because otherwise we have, obviously, Dracula.
Yeah.
Which, sort of vintage, but like outdated. And then, of course, there's all the teen stuff, like True Blood, Twilight, etc. True Blood was cool when it came out.
I remember. Are you excited to see Nosferatu?
Sure. I actually haven't seen any of his movies.
None.
Wait, did he do The Vivitch?
Yeah.
Okay, then I have seen that.
I didn't see that one. I saw The Northman.
Wait, no, not Dave Eggers. What's his name?
Is that not it?
Dave Eggers is the author.
It is.
He is Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I've only seen The Witch. I know people love The Northman. I also was always curious about The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson.
I meant to see that.
But I would see Nosferatu. Sure.
I think it'll be fun.
I've been uninspired. I know there's some good movies out right now, but I don't know. I've been a little uninspired.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, even like the way that people are like trying to gay guyify Baby Girl, I'm like, I'll watch it. I'm excited, but I'm like, but I don't feel it deep in my soul. Like when Challengers came out, I was excited. And this, I'm like, yeah, like I'm Nicole Kidman, whatever. I'm sure it'll be fun.
I've heard she's amazing in it, and I'm excited to see it. Nicole Kidman works too much, and we don't have the opportunity to miss her before she comes back.
Yeah.
I just remember like when Mayor of Easttown came out and Kate Winslet came onto the screen, I was like, thank God you're back. Like, and she also works a lot. It's not like she had disappeared.
Yeah.
But I with Nicole Kidman, she's just constantly doing something, and I somehow find a way to watch everything. And so it sort of just feels like seeing a family member again.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll enjoy it, and I'm excited, but the gay guyification feels manufactured or something.
There's something about the Oscar season this year. It's not hitting in a way I want it to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the Anatomy of a Fall?
I even felt like Honora, I thought it was going to be like everyone's talking about it all the time. And it like kind of came and went. Like people were like, that was really good. And then that's the end.
I know. I wonder if they pushed Mikey too soon and people will have Mikey Madison fatigue by the time it's time to vote for the Oscars.
Yeah.
But then you know who they really pushed too early? Demi Moore.
Mm-hmm.
People barely remember that.
Did I say this on the podcast already? One of my dumbest statements yet. If I did,
What?
if I think I have said this, but so sorry. Why is it Demi Lovato?
Demi Lovato
and Demi
and
Moore.
This is remember when you said, why isn't it Julie Art, since it's an art school?
Well, I would always forget. Is it Juilliard or Juilliard?
Juilliard or Juilliard? Once again, it's so frustrating that after 3 hours of talking on Zoom, we can't just like have a drink.
It's actually quite tough being bicoastal on this podcast.
It's so hard.
And it's
really
weird
difficult.
because like whenever we want to record, it's always a bad time for one of us. Like I am like, and it's hard to quantify, and it's even hard to like when we're in New York, yes, scheduling is annoying, and then we hang out and it's normal, and we can be like, well, now it's normal, and now we're scheduling all the time and never hanging out, and it's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it creates, yeah, it's frustrating.
It is a relationship literally no one would ever be able to understand unless they also had a similar like professional experience. Like it is one of the strangest experiences in the world to have a friend that you have to constantly schedule chats with to then release into a paywall. And then you sometimes I will think of something and I'll be like, save it for the pod. It's like, that is so humiliating.
This morning I woke up with glee that I was going to be able to tell you about the pulling dick out story.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to listen to the pulling dick out story, you better subscribe to Patreon.
That's true.
Mama.
Malma.
All right.
Well,
I just want to say, first of all, I'm very grateful for you.
I'm very grateful for you as well.
And we are both so grateful to all our callers today. We're gonna play a couple more calls after this as a little button, because I think they're entertaining and fun calls that we didn't have time to answer. And thank you everyone for calling in. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your call, but I think we're going to try to start putting calls, here and there and in other episodes too.
And if you're in San Francisco, come to our Sketchfest show.
Please.
On January 17th, is that it?
17th. Please tell your friends. It's a Friday night. It's going to be so much fun, or a Saturday night or something.
Friday.
But it is a weekend.
Friday night.
It's a Friday night. It's going to be so much fun. I really want to get some good guests because so many people are going to be in town for Sketchfest.
That's going to be so fun.
So we need to act fast.
Yeah. I think it's also kind of a late show. Mm-hmm. Here's what I'm proposing.
Ooh.
Martinis on stage.
Oh yeah.
We've never done that before.
I know. We're such little goody two shoes.
We really are. It's kind of weird.
I'm also feeling like 2025, we're going to mix things up. I'm thinking new merch. I'm thinking new artwork. for the pod. I'm thinking potentially even use segments. I'm thinking even like mixing up the live show in a way. I'm thinking we do little, impromptu games or something like that. I'm like, it's time to innovate.
I love it. I love it. Folks, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Hanukkah, which is on Christmas Day this year.
Hey.
So that is called bipartisanship.
That is amazing. So no matter where you stand religiously, that day is going to pop off.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
I love this like very slow ending that we're doing.
Yeah, it's cool.
We keep talking slower and less focused for like 10 minutes. I'm actually loving it.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning into not podcasting live.
Ooh, you're hearing it.
You know what I mean? Like I'm now just chatting, and I no longer have in my mind. I'm no longer like, I hope this is coming off as entertaining.
Wow. Well, that's how you know the podcast really begun.
What are you having for dinner?
I don't know. It's only 2 p.m. here. I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, I've only had a bagel so far.
Oh, yeah. A bagel in LA?
And honey, let me tell you, it was gross. But
yeah, I bet it was, bitch.
But old habits die hard.
Do you like a warm, wintry cocktail, like a hot toddy or like a mulled wine?
I can get into it.
I think I'm gonna have that be part of my identity in the next 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big announcement.
So look out, folks.
The way that I'm going to pretend it's like 0 degrees when I'm in New York, even though it's not, like,
It's been pretty cold.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been cold this week. I actually bought new gloves, believe it or not.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Fuck. Okay.
All right. Well, guess what? If you're listening to this on Patreon, thank you for subscribing. And if you're listening to this on the main feed, this is just a small peek of the kind of benefits you will get if you go to patreon.com/StraightioLab and subscribe. We're talking 2 extra episodes a month, movie club, call-in shows, literally monthly earnestness check-ins where we just say the most personal and vulnerable things you can think of and charge money.
You know what this ending is?
What?
It's so like, no, you hang up. Like we have something like neither of us were like resisting ending it in a funny way.
Because I have errands to do after this and I really don't want to do them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do to prevent myself because I've already eaten. Normally I would be like, oh, perfect, I can eat now and then run my errands. But that would be lying to myself.
Yeah.
Although I think I'm going to make a smoothie.
Yum. Ooh, I want a treat.
Yeah, get a treat.
I want to go. Should I go to Erewhon and get a $20 smoothie?
Go to Erewhon.
Wait, I deserve that.
Yeah, you do.
Oh my God.
And I would even go further. I would say get a smoothie, but then also get a little snack.
Oh my God. Wait, this sounds so good. Okay, done. I'm going.
Okay, done. All right. And by the way, this, we know we're being this way.
Yeah,
So
this is self-aware, so you can't make fun of us.
This is not what most Patreon content is. We are focused and we are literally discussing a film.
Right now, we just don't want to go do our days.
We just don't want to go do our days. And guess what? It's Sunday, December 15th.
And this is
I'd like to see
our last recording of the year.
This is our last recording of the. By the way, I'd like to see what everyone else is doing right now at 5 p.m. on Sunday, December 15th. Are you guys being super smart and super insightful? I don't think so.
I don't think so. If you're judging us right now, look in the mirror and judge yourself.
Literally look in the mirror because I know what you've done, and you will be punished for it.
Well, George, you're making them rock hard all over again.
Well, if that makes you rock hard, then you better listen to the previous Patreon episode because I have to say, I'm like, when you were telling that penis story, I was like, I could see people being horny.
Yeah, I mean, it was sexy.
It was sexy
and weird, but sexy.
All right.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Happy holidays. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Sam and George. I don't know if you're still using this voicemail box after the Ernest Bonanza, but I just saw Wicked, yesterday, and I thought of a straight shooter, and I just felt the need to share it. I didn't know how else to share it. So anyway, here it is. The boy is mine, or the girl is green. Okay, that's pretty much it. Love you guys. Bye.
Hey, StraightioLab. This is some gay guy living in New Jersey driving a Volvo to pick up some dinner. I forget why you set up this phone line and what it was used for last time, but I like talking to you. That's pretty much it. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.
Whoa, so crazy. I'm calling because I just listened. I have a very boring job right now, and so was sort of letting Spotify rip, and it was playing the old episode in which Sam says, "I'm sure that makes sense, and I'm so beautiful." And then immediately afterwards says something so infinitely relatable, which is not really understanding exactly why a bullet would kill something. He's like, how does it go through, and why would it kill it? And George tries to explain in a sort of logical way, but just being like, I don't get it. Somebody explain it to me. I have this all the time. I think this way constantly, sort of like, no, but literally why? And one of my things that I often think about and feel almost freaked out that nobody else is thinking about is like how a refrigerator works. I feel like nobody's ever thinking about how their refrigerator works, but it's one of the only things in our life that just makes things colder, and nobody's ever thinking about how that happens. Anyway, I'm obviously stoned, but it's just one of those things. And I felt kinship, and I wanted to share that with someone. So thank you. Goodbye.
StraightioLab is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network and iHeart Podcasts.
Created and hosted by George Civeris and Sam Taggart.
Executive produced by Will Ferrell, Han Sani, and Olivia Aguilar.
Co-produced by Bei Wang.
Edited and engineered by Adam Avalos.
Artwork by Michael Fales and Matt Grubb.
Theme music by Ben Kling.